Keenan, I will repeat the question. Since the police department knows the hot spots for this activity, why do we still have hot spots and why aren't they shut down? And we're addressing this to Keenan.
Thank you. Well, like the young lady said earlier, and as has been repeated, the kids will find a way, and they'll find a location. So the hot spots, we're aware of the hot spots, we patrol the hot spots, we make the arrest from the hot spots, and the kids adapt, whether it's this alley or that alley. I didn't mention some of the names of the locations. A young lady did mention one that's historic for rumors and issues regarding kids using drugs at that particular location on the hill in the park. It's sort of a rite of passage of where they go, and it's why? It's strategically, the advantage point is to the kid, right? They're on a hill, they can see you coming from quite a distance away. So we patrol, we look, but they're smart. They're not gonna smoke in front of the police. They know how to ditch their proceeds before the police come, and they know the police cars, they know the police officer. We've got 100 officers, right? They know the police when they're coming, whether they're wearing uniform or not, in our vehicles as well. So we do the best we can, but let me reiterate, I think, again, what many of the panelists have said, arresting people is not the solution. That is what police do. Principally, that's our principle for. We enforce the law. And our response when we find anyone, regardless of the age, in possession of drug paraphernalia or drugs themselves, we're going to arrest them. We're going to bring them in front of a judge and prosecute them. That's what we'll do. That's not the answer. That's not the complete answer. We need a more holistic approach, a community response. That's why this panel's here. And John mentioned there's many resources within this community to address this issue. The police are just one.
Thank you. And this is directed to Jason or Janelle. I live close to the school and personally see students in my alley smoking pot and drinking beer during the school day. I presume they return to the classroom. How big is this problem within the school day, and what do you do about it in the building? Janelle or Jason?
I think it's a pretty significant problem. We get calls from neighbors frequently enough. Neighbors also call the police. The police respond. Those that are caught are brought into the building and given consequences. Many are not caught. What was the question again?
That he or she lives close to the school and sees them drinking and smoking, and what do they do in the building, and how big is the problem within the school day?
So, okay, I wanted to make sure I answered that. I think it is a significant problem when we have an open campus. There is the opportunity to come and go. Jason mentioned the number of exits that we have, that we couldn't possibly have enough staff to stand at every door to keep students from entering and exiting. But it is something that we are aware of. We appreciate the neighbors' cooperation in making the police aware and making us aware. And we try our best to deal with it. When I have a full staff of security, we patrol in the car during the school day. The police are aware of these areas around the building. They patrol in police cars, so we are aware. It is certainly problematic with our open campus, and we deal with it as we learn of it.
This also is for Jason, thank you. For Jason or Janelle. I've heard it talk about bringing dogs into the school, closing the campus for the lunch hour, and random drug testing. What are the positive and negative consequences of these actions?
Well, I guess really that depends on who you ask. Closing the campus, there are positives and negatives of that. Obviously, if the campus is closed, the ability to go in and out during the day would not be there. We do, however, have 48-minute lunch periods, and that would mean sitting in the cafeteria for 48 minutes. You don't need that much time to eat. That will lead to other in-the-building issues that will arise. there are also some other logistical issues involved with closing the campus in terms of scheduling of students, capacity of the cafeterias, how many lunch periods we have. So there are a lot of things that have to be considered when looking at closing the campus. Bringing in drug-sniffing dogs it can be seen as a deterrent. It might keep students from choosing to bring drugs into the building. We feel that we have students that bring them in. We also know of we have heard of hiding places that they know to hide them outside the building, buried behind somebody's bushes. So it can serve as a deterrent, but it's not alleviating the problem completely because kids are smart and they figure out other ways to do things.
Okay, this question is for either Jim Powers or Bert. I haven't heard any data from the middle schools. Can anyone speak to what the drug or alcohol environment is at that level?
Well, we just had an arrest.
Yeah, it's on. You gotta get
We just
closer.
had an arrest recently at the middle school with for drug issues, and we heard from the young lady here that this does happen. I mean, and I'm not sure if everybody knows what I do. I work with gangs, drugs, and violence in both Oak Park and River Forest. With all the governments in town. So, I'm one of the ones that get called in for a lot of these things, and my whole team works with this. So it's at the middle schools too, not to this extent, but it's growing.